Come on, go. All right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. It's 4 o'clock. My name is Oscar Ortiz. I'm the Mayor Pro Tem for the City of Indio. Can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Holmes.
Present.
Councilmember Miller.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Ortiz.
Present.
And Councilmember Ramos Amit and Mayor Furman are absent.
All right, thank you. Do we have any public comments?
There are none.
All right, Mr. City Attorney, would you like to take us into closed session?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We have one item in closed session today, and it is identified on the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, City Attorney. We'll go ahead and adjourn the closed session.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a conflict for Microsoft Outlook? No, I don't.
Are you there, Matt?
Made it. Like Superman. Got off at 3:15. Home. Shower real quick. I could have probably got out a little earlier, but I don't want them to be short and favorite. So. You guys did women do. I had a union call in. Oh yeah. What a day. I started. Let me see what time I wake up. 4.
It's gonna be a long, but it's gonna be short.
No, don't say. Yeah, it's gonna be a short. It's gonna be a long one.
It's gonna be.
See, because if we say long, then it goes by
It's gonna
quick.
be long. Yeah, that's true.
We gotta get Tim to expedite.
Yes.
I appreciate it, man. Catch up with you. I agree.
Okay, it's all right. How you doing?
As long as you did that. I didn't see you sitting there.
Yeah, I kind of snuck in. Yeah. How you doing?
There are pins right up front for it. Oh, you already filled it out. Thank you. This is just public comments on items not on the agenda, correct? Awesome.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good evening. I'm going to call to order the joint City of Indio Council meeting with the Indio Water Authority. My name is Wayman Furman. I'm the mayor of the city and I'll be chairing this meeting. Could I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Holmes.
Present.
Councilmember Miller.
Present.
Councilmember Ramos Amit.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Ortiz
Present.
and Mayor Furman.
Present. Our next item is invocation. We do not have anyone for the invocation, so we'll move on to the pledge. If I could ask everyone to please stand and I will lead us in the pledge. Please place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
All right, our next item is item number 4, City Attorney Report on Closed Sessions. City Attorney, we have anything to report on?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, settlement direction was given by consensus.
All right. Thank you. Our next item is Youth Advisory Council, and we have Stephanie up to give us a report.
Good evening. I am Stephanie De Jesus, and I am YAC Treasurer. Since we last reported, we have completed and set up our Dia de los Muertos altar at Palm Springs Art Museum. The altar was inspired by Disney's The Book of Life. The theme centers around family and love, a story about a young man who's willing to go into the afterlife in order to be with his true love. It is one of 4 featured youth-led altars that would be featured at their event this Sunday from 10 to 5 p.m. We invite you to support YAC at our annual snow cone sale at Desert Recreation District Halloween's Carnival, which will take place on Saturday, October 29th from 1 to 6 p.m. at the Indio Community Center Park of Clinton. And that concludes our report.
All righty. Thank you. Our next item is item number 6, City Manager Reports and Information.
Thank you, Mayor. As the council is well aware, we have a strategic plan with hundreds of action items to help make Indio an even better community. Included within that set of action items within the strategic plan is a capital improvements plan that you approved as part of this budget. So Mr. Tim Wassel, our Public Works Director, is here to provide an update on those projects. He has a PowerPoint presentation as well as some of his team here available to answer any questions you may have. He may go very, very fast on some of these slides. If there's more information that the public may want, or you as council members let us know, or if you'd like to stop him on a slide and ask some questions, please do so. Otherwise, he might be going fairly quickly in his presentation. So Mr. Wassel.
Good evening. Fasten your seatbelts. It's about 120 slides, but I promise you it's going to go quick. So we're going to start with our bridges. Seismic retrofit, completed that one. That's on the stormwater channel, $3 million. Completed that one, India Boulevard. This is the one that we have the little hiccup with the lawsuit on it. So that's still going a little bit. Channel lining, that's completed. Avenue 44 bridge, I wanted to stop and just give you a summary, something that's very important. While this is mostly funded by Caltrans, the problem is Caltrans is telling us that they don't have the funds. They don't know when they're going to get the money. So they're asking us if we would front the money and then they will reimburse us on a later date. So what we're doing right now is we're going to keep pushing forward, get the design ready to go, get the construction documents ready to go. And then at that time, we'll see what's going on and we'll make a decision. But fronting $30 million is going to be a tough one for us. So we'll see what happens with that one.
Yeah.
Not in this program. So bridge preventive maintenance program, that's going to kick in the next couple of years. And it will kick in about $8 million for the city to do more seismic retrofit projects. Where are we? Okay. Jefferson Street bridge repair, we keep getting the rails hit, so we keep repairing them. We fix them, they hit them again. Indio Boulevard southbound the overhead bridge, that's getting completed in 2024, and I believe that's the project study report. So we're planning on doing a project study report to replace that bridge. Another project bridge study report, project study report for the Jackson Street over the railroad channel. Street projects. Okay. Madison Street improvements will be starting on the construction of that one, $3.2 million. That's from Highway 111 all the way to Avenue 48. We have streetlight upgrades. That's complete this month. Streetlight upgrade again, phase 2. We have Rancho Los Coyotes. We'll be starting on that one next year and wrap it up. We were waiting on the Coachella Valley Water District to decide if they're going to do any work before we finish our work, and then they tear it up. Avenue 50 widening from Jefferson Street to Jackson Street. We're starting the design on that one, $30 million. Our share of it is about $6 million. Jefferson Street widening from Avenue 38 to Avenue 40. Again, that's under design right now. Avenue 52 from Monroe to Madison under design. ADA curb ramp upgrades. It is construction is expected. It has started, right? Or getting ready to start on that one. Jefferson Street, Highway 111 intersection improvements. We all experience what's going on in that intersection. So finally, we're gonna get it finished with our current project with ATP, the contractor, and that's a change order on your agenda for tonight. We will begin right after the Ironman in La Quinta on December the 5th. It will be all night work for 2 weeks. So lights will be operational during the day, and then nighttime. Just stay away from that intersection.
The whole intersection?
The whole intersection. And not only that, we're going actually southbound, south in our city, and then west in our city, and then also north in La Quinta. So all of that will be improved. And then after all of that's finished, next year we'll come back and do the slurry and finish Jefferson. It's going to look gorgeous. It's going to look beautiful. Jackson Street, complete street improvement. That's the grant that we got for $5 million. Sidewalks, shades, ADA upgrades, all kinds of good stuff that's happening. Shields Road connection, that is, we're wrapping up. Finally got the right of way. The design is expected to be completed in the winter. We'll go out to bid and hopefully we'll get it done by next summer. Citywide speed survey, we'll do that next year. George Street. We actually completed that project. We widened it. The folks at Golden Voice asked us for some help to make it a little better for circulation, and we did that already for them. CDBG improvements, miscellaneous median, landscape improvements, all throughout the city. Any vacant median, we're looking at upgrading that. And the theme in general is going to be what the county has installed: palm trees and some shrubs. It's going to look beautiful, and some lighting whenever it's available. So that's under design as we speak. Jefferson Street West entry, that's the Gore area. When you get on the ramp from Indio Boulevard and go up, we're trying to find something that will make it look nice. And if we can get the water in there, it's going to look beautiful. Some palm trees, and it's an entry into our city. So that's under design. Highway 111 median landscaping, bumper to bumper, any area that's vacant, upgrading the palm trees, adding palm trees. Again, the theme is similar to what you see across the street on the county side, $3 million dedicated to that project. Oasis Road beautification road diet. If that's one of the projects that the city council asked us to do, it's going to have some bulb outs, and it's going to have some beautification, trees, crosswalks, color crosswalks. We're combining that project with 2 more projects, shade trees in downtown, and also the Civic Center storm drain improvements. Avenue 48, Oleander, we finished the demo. We're repairing the irrigation, and we'll be installing Orange Jubilee coming soon. Downtown shade trees, we already talked about. Downtown gateway signage, we're working on the concepts with the city manager on that one. Golf Center Parkway, Highway 111 to Highway 111 landscaping, median landscaping. Maintenance projects. So annual maintenance program, we are wrapping up the additional maintenance that we're working on right now. We have pavement management. Okay, so that project is wrapping up. 5 million square feet is what we knocked out, 5 million square feet. And then we have interchange projects. Okay, so Jackson Street interchange. We're wrapping up we're working on the design, moving towards acquiring right-of-way in next year. And hopefully when we have funding, we will move to construction. So that's The challenge, of course, is money on that one. Monroe Street is a little ahead of Jackson Street. We should start on the right-of-way here pretty soon. The latest on this is CBAG is going to be talking to RCTC about securing some funding or horse trading or doing something like that. So because we told them our share is ready, now pony up. Sidewalk projects, Herbert Hoover is under construction as we speak. That actually, we got $3 million from the state. We ended up spending another $5.5 million from the city's fund on that project. Shadow Avenue pedestrian improvements. That's a new project that we're working on. It's a sidewalk gap, so we're closing that gap. Arts and music line. That's the through the CBAG. They're working on it. They're waiting for funding on that one, but it's under design. CV Link again, CBAG partner project. Storm drain project. That's a civic center improvement to eliminate it or to reduce the flooding for a little over $4 million that we got as a grant. On that one. Traffic signals, citywide annual minor miscellaneous, that's we do that annually. Avenue 50, Jackson intersection improvements, almost $15 million project. That one is going to be all the way from 49 to 52, and then bumper to bumper on Avenue 50 within our city. Wrap that up. It is under design and right-of-way will begin fairly soon here. New traffic signal in Monroe, that's under construction. HSIP, those are the dilemma zones. That's starting construction soon, right? Bidding tomorrow. Okay. Avenue 44, new signal at 44 and Lago Vista. Solar speed limit readers, we've ordered those, 10 of them, I believe. We're going to put them all throughout the city. Signal synchronization, that's a CBAG project, but we have a partnership in it. Street sign, the IISNS, all the street name signs all throughout the city. We are waiting on the sample here for Miles Avenue, but we've already started getting our inventory on Monroe and Jefferson. And as soon as we're happy with this one here, we'll place the order and we'll start one corridor at a time. And we will be doing the replacement ourselves. Our team will be doing that. Projects, parks projects. Okay. Sports project, 50% under design, $9.5 million project. We got a grant on that one. So it is moving forward. And that's on the vacant lot by the DMV. South Jackson Park ADA improvements, that bids out on the 25th of this month. And we should get started on it and get it done. Downtown outdoor living room. We've already got the bids on that one, so we'll be coming to council to award it hopefully on the 16th of November. John Noble Park, Indio Sports Park Phase 2. So that's been on hold because we did not get the TCC grant that we worked very hard on getting, but we didn't get it. Miles Avenue Skate Park is on hold until we figure out what we're going to do with the burger building. Park and playground upgrades. I have a different slide for all of these, so we'll go through those here real quick. Pickleball courts at Patton Park and Miles Avenue. So we have one design for the Patton Park. And what we're hoping to do is be able to do 2 pickleball courts and also use the tennis court. So the pickleball court nets will be portable and then they can be brought in and then taken down as needed. So we're working on that. We got one proposal and we're getting another proposal. And then we'll start on Miles Avenue as well. Dock Park at Miles Avenue Park, it is under design, 85% complete. And then we will jump on it as soon as the design is finished. Buildings, emergency generator, we've ordered one. We got a grant for that. Senior center improvements, very minor stuff. We're wrapping up. Downtown tenant improvements. What do we got here? Which one is this? Okay, that's multiple sites. Okay. Indio Marketplace. That's the project that we've funded. Public safety campus is under construction. Demo the building on Smur and install turf. That's completed. Downtown facade and signage. We're working with the city manager on that one. So some samples of what we've talked about. Campus electrical, the museum campus electrical upgrade. That's underway. Highway 111 facade signage improvement. Again, it's a project that we're working with the city manager on. So that's in total all the projects that we are currently working on, and with the city's share of a little over $62 million. So non-CIP projects, Jackson Street and Monroe. So because of what's going on with Jackson Street and Monroe, we're really trying to see if there's any way that we can do something in the interim to relieve traffic. We think we have a good idea. We're going to start talking to our partners in Caltrans and see if they will agree to it. Minimal costs out of pocket, but hopefully if they agree to it, it will help us tremendously. So we finished the study on that one. Pavement management plan, we're updating our pavement management there. And that wraps up this presentation here. Any questions? What did I do? Huh? Pretty good.
Well, you did good.
Okay. Ready for some parks activities?
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to jump to the parks.
Well, maybe just, so are there
Yeah.
any questions on what he covered, anything you want to highlight? Certainly we can answer those after as well. But anything?
No, I mean, there's a lot of material. However, it's a lot of good news that's in the future. And I'm pretty sure that everyone in this chamber can agree. We see all the improvements going on already in our city. Big improvements through the communities, a lot of our thoroughfares in the city. So there's a lot of work being done. And, as I told Tim the other day, I'm extremely excited and impressed with our city staff has been able to do and the decisions our council has made to back that. So thank you for the work. And we know this is a vision and we're going to continue to work on it. But I want to highlight a couple of things. One is our Jackson Bridge. I know that's a big concern. So I'm happy to hear that we're looking at alternatives in the meantime. That's big to relieve some of that traffic. And also the Monroe Bridge, how close we are to turning some dirt there. That's really good news. And, so there's a lot of projects going on. But, I'm just excited to drive down some of these streets. Last week I drove down Van Buren and I had to get out and walk around because we had some challenges on that street, and to know that our students and our parents have a nice new street in front of their school. That's good news. So thank you all for the hard work, and I'll open it to the council.
Yeah, I just had one question on the Monroe Bridge. What was our share of the Monroe Bridge?
The interchange, I believe right now we have it a total of about 23, but we've already spent some of those funds. So, and we have set aside about 12. Currently, we have 12 and another 4 or 5 that were worth $1 million. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
So
thank you. And then you said their CBAG's bringing in RCTC.
Yes, they're talking to, Mr. Kirk and Ms. Mayor. They're talking about possible funding opportunities. Yeah. Because they know it's number one on the TPPS for CBAG to get this done.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
No, I just want to congratulate you and your staff on a great job. I mean, Tim, you've always done good work, but running this many projects at one time, and I'm out here quite a bit. And the buildings downtown, I mean, you've got people working everywhere. Fantasy Springs, entryway into one of our biggest employers here in the city of Indio. That road's been a mess for a long time. I've had a lot of residents talk about it. And then one of the biggest concerns is the Highway 111 at Jefferson. And that's going to make a lot of people very, very happy, especially people coming in and out of our city. So
Have you checked out the old Ralph's parking lot?
Yes, that's what I was going to say, because that's one of my banks. And what a difference. Everywhere you go in the city, we're being upgraded.
You can thank the city manager for that.
In our downtown parking lots.
I mean, everywhere, downtown parking lots, streets.
Indio Boulevard's looking really good too.
Yeah, we're upgrading. We're really coming up in the world. I mean, thank you a million times, you and your staff, for everything you're doing to make Indio a better place, more comfortable, easier to drive. And we're just going to keep pushing forward. So, and all the park and improvements that we're going to see, so many positive changes that we've waited so long for are happening. Thank you.
And to our residents for Measure X.
Yes,
absolutely.
That's right.
For investing back in their own community and highlighting it, because it is everywhere they look, they'll see work being done with the money that they reinvested back in their community to make it a better place to live.
You made a comment, 5 million square feet of pavement rehabilitation. Is that this year?
That's just a grind and overlay. That's not slurry. Slurry is in addition to that. And I have more slurry to do, come back in March. So we'll be doing a lot more slurry sealing.
Is that a cumulative number or is that?
5 million is just the grind and overlay.
Just a period.
I don't have the number for the slurry seal, but it's also in the million. About the same, yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll take a short break and then we'll kick it again next fiscal year. So we'll be back at it next fiscal year. Okay, so the parks improvements here, a lot of these things is, if you recall, there was a DRD study that was done, but even before the DRD study, we've identified a lot of items and we started being very proactive, and we've replaced a lot of these things. But just in total, we have identified and we've completed about $1.2 million worth of things that we've already done, and we have another $500,000 to go, and we still have $300,000 left in the budget. So these parks are going to start looking a lot better. So this is just a quick example here. The chimney climbers at Miles Avenue Park, $8,100. The picnic shades have been replaced. Those bubble panels have been replaced. That's all Miles Avenue Park. Picnic tables, benches, all of these are going to be replaced with newer ones, and we have a sample to show you. The soccer field is going to be repaired. The irrigation, we have a $195,000 grant that we're using for that. We will wait until after the Tamale Fest, and then we'll start on it. So this way, we're not disturbing the Tamale Fest. A lot of shade structures that we've been replacing. Shade fabrics at North Jackson Street. There's about $45,000 on that one to the right. Again, North Jackson Park, replacing picnic tables, trash cans, all of that old stuff. The resurface the tennis court at North Jackson, $25,000 worth. Yucca Park, replace benches, shade structures, again, playful surfaces, $67,000. You got another $7,000 here on, that's in South Jackson Park. That's in addition to the project that we are bidding out right now, which is estimated about $1.7 million, separate and apart from all of these improvements. Again, more stuff on South Jackson Soccer Park. We are replacing the picnic. Is that the bleachers? No, that's the fabric and picnic tables. Davis Field, that's where we're adding another shade structure there. We spent $31 on shade fabric. And we got more stuff going on here. That's number 3. That's the one that's on the agenda for tonight, right? Or we've already approved it. It's been approved. Yeah, $120,000. That's the only field that didn't have a shade structure. So we're adding that one there. Again, trash cans, all of that's going to be renewed. Bleachers at Patton Park, fall surfaces, $64,000. Another $3,000 on engineered wood. All of these climbers are getting replaced and upgraded. Climbers are expensive, $53,000 again on Patton Park. That's separate and apart from the pickleball course that we're doing over and above. Again, Dominguez Park, same stuff here, replacing anything that's old, tired, shade structure. More shade, picnic shade, $164,000 on web climber at Dominguez Park, $164,000. Kauai Park, benches getting replaced, more benches. Dr. Carrion Park, $170,000, replace climber. Shade being done. We've installed a master valve because the homeless keep knocking out the irrigation and flooding the whole field. So now we have a master valve. If they do anything like this, it will shut off the whole irrigation and it will notify us. We spend about $15,000 on that one. Jorth Park, more improvements at Jorth Park there, climbers, benches, etc. Burr Park. So Burr Park, the shade has been ordered in April. The delivery is in December. And as you all, if you remember, we've had a lot of blow and sand in there. So we cleaned it all up and we're getting ready to install like a snow fence to prevent that from happening in the future. Shields Park, doing some work there too. The picnic area, $35,000. Doug York Park, we're replacing the benches and garbage cans there, trash cans. Replace at the Station 87 Dog Park, those benches and trash cans are getting really tired, so we're replacing those. And we're going to be replacing them with something really cool. So this is our park furniture inventory. Those are the benches that are going to go in, similar to what you see on the right, but it's going to carry our logo. And there's going to be a little barrier in the middle so nobody can lie down on these. So it's just for sitting down. We've also upgraded our irrigation controllers, $174,000. We got a rebate from Indio Water Authority. Thank you, Mr. Trejo. So $174,000. And then in total, we've spent up to now $1,224,742, and we have 504 coming up. Any questions?
Wow, yeah, looks good.
And we're just warming up.
Just warming up. Well, that's a comprehensive outlook right there. But we always talked about some of the challenges we had in our parks, and to see that we're planning on working on these things for the community, it's just more good news for the city of Indio. And thank you for the report, and thank you for the hard work. I'm looking forward to it. And just to talk about some of our parks, our Davis Field, we have lots and lots of visitors to our city for tournaments and, things, baseball and things like that. So, to know that our fields are going to be looking great, that's good. And, and plus, working on our Indio Sports Complex, that's big. That's something that's been in the works for years. A lot of folks didn't know if that was going to happen or not. But when we got that grant, we were ready, shovel ready to go. So there's a lot of work that's been going on behind that. Go ahead, Mr. Watson.
I wanted to express our gratitude, number one, for our residents, number two, for our city council, for the city manager, and I'll be remiss if I don't mention my team that's always given me all the support that I need here. Josh Nickerson, and we have Juan Raya, and we have Mike Edgar. All of these folks work really very, very hard behind the scenes. And we have a couple of other folks that are helping us with all of these projects. So well, thanks to all of you.
We appreciate the hard work, and we'll have Rob write the check. So council,
Thank you. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
I have some comments.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I additionally want to thank everyone involved, the entire team. I know Tim's department programs and gets the work done, but it takes the entire team to move these projects forward. And I'm really proud of the work that we're doing in the Parks Department. My question is, are we involving the Community Services Commission in these presentations, in these updates, in input that may be needed by staff? I just want to make sure that we involve our commission. That is one of their roles. And I guess I kind of wanted to remind us of that and see if that is happening.
It is happening, and we have, in fact, just recently spoken of the Patton Park pickleball course. I was going to say volleyball for some reason, but the pickleball courts, and they've been very helpful. And they're also doing extensive work and going around themselves and making sure that they're noting issues that we ought to be addressing, many of which Mr. Wassel covered. So it is a good reminder, Councilwoman, and we'll continue to do that. Yes, I should mention that the Planning Commission received the full presentation of the CIP and was informed and provided comments. The Arts Commission as well, because there's some arts components to what is within the CIP list. So even the Sustainability Commission has had some role in a couple of these projects. So your appointed representatives on these boards have been very active.
Thank you.
Great. City Manager, you have anything else for us?
No, just echoing. I'm thanking the council for thanking staff, because it is a lot of work that's being done. Mr. Wassel leading a great team. There's so much going on by the 300 plus members of Team Indio, but without the support of the city council. And I don't think there's a meeting gone by since I've been here in 18 months where the council hasn't thanked staff for what we're doing. And that means a lot. So thank you for not only your leadership in pushing for all of this, but thanking the team that's working hard every day to make it happen.
Great, thank you. All right, we'll move on to our next item, which is report on city council, external and internal boards and commissions. Councilmember Holmes, would you like to kick us off?
Sure, absolutely. So I didn't have, my commissions were dark, but there were some really incredible things that happened over the last couple of weeks. Most notably, the College of the Desert beam signing. How awesome. It was such a terrific day. And as you drive down Oasis, you see both the Childhood Development Center and the College of the Desert coming up. You watch those steel beams coming up. I was around, Councilmember Miller was around in 2013 when the first college went up, and that brought 4,000 students. Now we're going to bring that many and more. And what that means really, yes, it means economic prosperity, but it gives our students in our community and in the East Valley hope. It allows them to plan for their future success for themselves, for their kids, and for their families. And I think there's nothing better than watching the College of the Desert just come out of the ground. And it was really, really an honor to be part of the beam signing process. Something fun, and you know, the Coachella Valley Museum has all different kinds of programs, and one of their missions really is to teach some level of history and government to something called the junior historians. These are kids in some third graders, fourth graders primarily, and a few other grades in there. And so this time they do it every year. It's Government Day. And got to tell you, I loved it. I brought the city manager in, Shelley was in, Sabdi was in, just to give these kids a flavor. Well, these kids were so eager. They had done their homework. They knew about city government. They knew to some extent the different roles that they were played. They had selected the mayor and the mayor pro tem and the council, and we let them come up here and we turned the microphones on and we gave them a real problem, or we didn't. They established a real problem. There were even speakers that got up, and you know, there were different roles that each person plays so that the council had to think and deliberate and so on and so forth. Just a mini version of what we do here. The kids just soaked it up. I was so pleased to see how well prepared they were, how interested they were, how excited they were. And as the city manager said, it was wild. There was candy up here by the time and down there. And by the time we left, the candy was all gone. I think that was the biggest treat. What do you remember the most? The candy. But I have to hand it to the kids because they did their homework. They understood. And one of the things we talked about, different things in the city, was keeping Indio beautiful. And what do we need to do to keep Indio beautiful? Well, we look at picking up trash. We don't walk by a piece of paper, we pick it up and throw it out, and just sort of starting some of that dialogue and conversation with our younger kids to keep them thinking. Great fun. But really the underlying sentiment was terrific. And then I just want to remind everyone about the second Saturdays. Just another, Indio is all about family. One of the things I love about the city are the people. And that means people and families and kids. And the second Saturday is so perfect. You see adults, we see little kids, we see babies, we see people with dogs. They're enjoying the music, they're enjoying each other, they're enjoying friendships. And I think it doesn't get any better than that. Thank you for putting that together, city manager and team, because I think that's really one of the best things that we've done here is give our community a way to get together, something to do, a way to listen to music and to really enjoy our city. And that concludes my report.
Great, thank you. We'll move on to Councilmember Amit. Do you have a report for us?
I do have a brief one. I met with the new promoter of the Riverside County Fair National Date Festival, Pickering Events. It's a family organization. They presented to us their plan for this next fair. And I believe that they're going to keep the spirit of the community fair alive. I do have a meeting with them first thing in the morning to get more details. So I'll be able to report at our next meeting what they plan for the fair and what they plan for the venue. And hopefully they do have big plans for the venue and utilize it more year round. Thank you, Mary. That will conclude my report.
Great. That's also exciting news. A lot of folks are talking about the Day Festival and the return. So looking forward to hearing that report. So thank you. Councilmember Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All my committees were dark, but as you were there at COD along with Councilmember Holmes, it's a great day for the city of Indio. The beam was kind of sentimental, but it was the progress going forward. When we first got here in 2013 with the first campus, we thought about that being a big deal. Now we're talking about over 10,000 students, including the new daycare center that'll be utilized also as a training center for students that want to be able to get a degree in child development. So great things happening in the city of Indio, the vision, and a great part of our downtown with all our new shops and opportunities are coming through, coffee, all the things that we're going with the nightclubs. Our new outdoor theater is going to give us another opportunity for not only those individuals there, but from the county and everywhere else to come down to Old Town or downtown Indio and enjoy some outdoors events and some family time. A couple of things I did besides the American Legion Riders on Monday had their first annual truck or treat event, about 45 cars and about 20 trucks, along with about 5 motorcycles from all over the Coachella Valley. Our American Legion Riders, part of our post, very proud to be able to host that. There was a lot of food, probably about 200 or 300 people at one time. So very much a good event. But at the same time, they want to expand. And as Veterans Day comes forward, we need to continue to support our veterans. I was at the Salvation Army also, who started their expo, Veteran Expo here in the city of Indio at our armory, then moved on to the fairgrounds. And then because of COVID, had to go backwards and ended up doing it in Cathedral City. But it's something I'd like to ask the council. I as my part of my job working for the senator, we do veterans events, and we've talked about putting up banners, and we've talked about hosting things. And as Indio is the largest city, does not have a veterans event or a veterans opportunity to do stuff. They got it in La Quinta, they have it in Cathedral City, they have Desert Hot Springs, they have a parade in Palm Springs. We really need to look at what we can do to support our veterans and our public safety. And I think it's something that we should either give to our community service group or somebody to help plan. We have the beam going up from 9/11. We have a new safety campus, but we really do need to thank our veterans and our first responders for all the work. And I think it's something we've talked about, but I think there's something we need to move forward, including, hopefully having an event of some kind to thank them. So it's something I'd like to bring up and see, hopefully get some consensus from us. And like I said, not council do it, not staff do it. Maybe the community service directors group, a commission handle that. So something like, and then looking forward to our State of the City, Mayor. You're first as mayor, and I'm looking forward to some great stuff. I did attend the State of the City for the city of La Quinta. That's when the haboob hit. We were all outside. They decided for the first time ever to host it outside, and the haboob hit right when we started, blew everything over. And thank God it wasn't COVID, because there was about 400 of us in the La Quinta Resort in a small building. And I give the city of La Quinta credit, and also the La Quinta Resort, because they brought the food in, they put the mic up, and all of us were standing inside listening to the awards and accepting the business. So, and it's great. The reason I bring that up is, this is a small valley, and the greater La Quinta is, the greater Palm Springs is, the greater the city of Indio is, because not everybody that lives in Indio works in Indio. And it was great to see all the things they have, and then listen to what Tim and that did. Just highlights how the city of Indio is moving forward with a great staff, great community, and to the rest of you, great leadership. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you all for joining us today. I had a meeting with the SoCal Energy and Environment Committee. We talked about a new project called Regional Resiliency Framework, where staff will be doing community engagement to explore pressing issues and potential short-term and long-term disruptions to the Southern California, such as extreme weather, drought, wildfires, pandemics, earthquakes, and economic shocks. Then they will create a system to track all of them interconnectedly and provide information and toolkits for communities to use to better prepare for these issues. We also worked on the SCAG Water Action Resolution, which states that although we're becoming more efficient with our water use is still outpacing replenishment efforts at an unsustainable rate. And this resolution will call for more work to be done to consider new opportunities for conservation and storage, while also taking into account costs for residents and businesses, especially the cost for those on fixed incomes like our senior citizens. We also heard a presentation about the transition to renewable energy. Currently, electricity is often cheaper than gasoline in terms of powering vehicles. We currently have about 1 million electric vehicles on the road in California, and we're expected to have 8 million on the road by 2030. We also have new regulations coming in for renewable energy, where 60% of all electricity sold is mandated to be renewable by 2030 and 100% to be renewable by 2045. To keep up with this pace, we need to triple our electric grid capacity by 2045. And this means tripling building rates for solar and wind power and increasing building rates for battery storage by 8 times over. 2045 is predicted to require 60% increase in electricity demand every day and 40% increase in peak load. I also had a meeting with the SoCal Resilience and Conservation Committee. One of the focuses was on water use again. We're expected to see significant population growth here in Southern California, and the current predictions are that we'll need more than 1 million acre feet of water every year by 2045, so within about 20 years. Yet we're predicted to lose 30% of our Colorado River water and 25% of our water from the State Water Project within the next 10 years. So we have a lot of work to do to change these numbers. We could see shortages 2 out of every 3 years by 2045 if we don't make significant changes. I also had a retreat with the Coachella Valley Economic Partnership where we did some strategic planning for the future of the organization. One point I brought up is that the organization does a great job compiling economic research that is very useful for our cities and businesses, but we need to work on formatting that research and data in a way that our community can easily access. I also had someone bring up an issue, which was tree pruning. And they mentioned that in some of our cities that we trim our trees too early, and that interrupts the nesting season for our local bird population. And so they recommended that we wait until late May or early June for pruning. But if we can have staff look at that, I would appreciate it. And that's all I have for today. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I have a brief report. So yesterday we attended the CLD.
Mhm.
Yes, I've been so busy. It's been a long day for me, but yes, I along with Council Member Holmes and Miller, we attended the beam signing for the College of the Desert, and just to share, some historical words in the area. We talked about the new campus, but a lot of us go back to the bus station that was there, the coffee shop, the restaurant. My grandfather would hang out there and with Mr. Haynes, who owned the Yellow Cab here in Indio, and to see where we're at now and where we're going it was real exciting, a little emotional as well, because it's historical, and we're really changing trajectories of folks' lives in our city. And what we're doing downtown, along with the campus, our businesses we're doing, our housing, our apartment complexes coming in, it's remarkable to know that folks will be able to live, go to school and work in close proximity of their houses, so that's important. It's taking roads off the street. It's about creating affordable living situations, not affordable housing, but affordable living situations, especially now with our economy. We don't know where it's going to go. Gas prices are very high. So to know that some of our young adults and families could be able to go walk and grab some coffee, or, go to class and go back home, in close proximity, that's great news. So I was super excited about that. Other than that, I didn't have any other reportable items. I do want to remind folks about our farmers market every Sunday, in Town and Bliss. I stopped by shortly this last weekend, but please come out. I think we'll be back on grass this week. We'll have some yoga out there, some coffee, lots of fresh produce from some of our vendors. So that's another great thing we're doing downtown. So please bring the families out, bring the kids out, and join us for the farmers market. Councilmember Holmes already mentioned the second Saturdays. Second Saturdays are just going to get better. They're already great, fun, family oriented. But when we get our amphitheater down there in our downtown living room, that's going to be great. So it's already in the process, but that amphitheater is going to be something special. So continue to support that. That's great. And Councilmember Miller mentioned that our State of City is November 9th. We still, I think, we'll have one more meeting until then, but get the word out because it's going to be fun. I'm going to make it interesting because we have a lot of interesting things going on in our city. And I will conclude my term as mayor on an exciting note. And so please come out and join us for our Indio State of the City. And so with that being said, that will conclude my, actually, no, it doesn't. I'm sorry. One more thing I want to mention. As we know, we recognize breast cancer awareness, our last meeting, but I also want to bring a spotlight to our police department and thank our chief for allowing our law enforcement officers to wear their pink patches to support breast cancer awareness. And also they have their vehicle out, the SUV that's out. If you get a chance to see it, it looks real nice. It's wrapped with breast cancer awareness, pink and ribbons. So if you get a chance to get a picture with that, please share it to our website. So we appreciate our police department and our city staff for supporting that. So that will conclude my report. And we will now move on to, actually, before we move on to consent calendar, I will excuse our YAC if they're ready to go and finish their homework and get ready for tomorrow. How's that sound?
Yeah.
All right.
I just learned that Stephanie is looking to study medicine at UCLA or UC Irvine. She's a senior at Indio High School. So wish her the best of luck on that.
Congratulations. Yeah. And before we continue, if you have any items you would like to speak on, please fill out a request to speak form and hand it over to our clerk, and she'll get that to me so I get you up. All righty. Well, our next item is consent calendar. If no one would like to pull anything, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second it. I just got a quick question if I could, Mr. Mayor. Brian, on 810, I know it's Prop 2627, and I've been pretty much through the valley in the last couple of weeks. Half the tribes are for it, half the tribes are against it. They're all against 27, but 26, some of the tribes are and some of the tribes aren't. So I see we're going no on this. How
Some cities have been neutral or have not addressed it. Those that we researched, the mayor and I spoke of this very matter. Most of the cities have suggested support for 26. But you're right. There are some of some of the local tribes may not be entirely in favor of it, as it may benefit the larger tribal casinos rather than the smaller ones.
Yeah, I saw that Spotlight had a no out in front of their casino, and then I saw that Agua Caliente, it looked like they were supporting it. So that's why I was just trying to see where we were going to go. I'm good either way. I think, with it, I'm not no on them myself, but I just wanted to make sure that we covered all our bases. But, we do have a partnership with a lot of our tribes, and wanted to make sure that they're recognizing that we're looking at it from a different set of eyes.
Councilmember, before you continue, I do have just got a public comment on it. So
okay.
I have Ms. Sunshine Herrera who would like to speak on this item before we move on. I know we have a motion on the floor, but now we have a comment for item 18.
Good afternoon, Mayor Pro Tem, rest of council. I'm a tribal member from the Agua Caliente Bandicoot Indians, and I just wanted to come to speak to you, and hopefully your guys' council backs 26 and says no to 27. 26 keeps sports betting within brick and mortar. 27 will allow it to be on any tablet computer, not knowing who's going to regulate that. As you can see, casinos themselves right now are highly, highly regulated. That's why it's a good thing to keep it in 26. It is a local prop. But most of all, 27, it's a no. Outside corporations, they're going to come in and they're going to take the money, and it's going to go out of state. Right now, you guys have partnerships with tribes, many different tribes, and they give back to their communities. This money will go out of state. It's not going to come here. It will go out of state. And on top of that, I am a product of gaming for tribes. I am 43. I am finishing my bachelor's. I didn't know how to read or write until I was in the 7th grade. Through gaming, it gave our tribes a government that was able to give our people education, was able to give our people housing. And I'm a product of that. So I am asking you guys to stand behind your guys' local tribes. Yes, there are tribes that are for it and against it, but your guys' local tribes, most of them are for, and I get it. They say the bigger ones are for it and the smaller ones are not necessarily true, but I need you guys to think of it more as in 26 keeps sports betting inside brick and mortar. 27, any tablet, except on reservations. If you go on the reservation, you can't use the tablet because it will be against the law to do sports betting on native land. So that's all thank you guys for your time. I do have pamphlets if you guys want any. I don't know who to give those to, just to tell you guys a little bit more about it. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. So I don't have any more public comments for that, but we do have a motion on the floor. If no
And I
one
have a
else,
question.
okay.
City manager, is this within our legislative policy or platform to support such a measure? And the second question is, if so, what's the benefit to the city? Because I don't understand why we're supporting a measure that doesn't impact the city.
The first, to answer your first question, I don't believe we have formally in my tenure set up a legislative priority agenda. We need to do so. It's actually one of our strategic planning items to make sure that's done. The League of Cities, Cal Cities now as it's called, they took a neutral position on 26 and an opposition position on 27. Most often cities will adopt the League of Cities legislative agenda. So to answer your question, the proposed resolution addresses one of the matters exactly as the league would, and the other they're neutral on. As stated by the public speaker, the success of the local tribal casinos, I think, is in everyone's best interest. They're some of our largest employers, residents on the native land and not. And so if the brick and mortar facilities and the investment that has been millions and millions of dollars is preserved, I think that's why you'd want to support Proposition 26, and that's the argument. 27 would take, as stated, would allow it just basically to happen anywhere on your phone or tablet, and that will damage and discourage the investment in the public facility, the facilities, the brick and mortar, that some of which has been built and some of which is planned that will not be built if 27 passes. So you see why that's the recommendation that would impact us at least indirectly as a city.
Any further
I can
comment?
see your argument on Proposition 27, but on 26, if the California League of Cities or whatever they're called now, Cal Cities, has taken a neutral position, why would we step out and take a position?
I agree. I agree.
I could speak to that. I mean, League of Cities does speak for, a body, but there's different things that our community is impacted by that other communities are impacted by. And I believe that supporting our tribes in this is the right thing to do for our community. It was already mentioned that Fantasy Springs and Agua Caliente are some of the biggest employers in our valley. And with Augustine Casino and some other our smaller tribes looking to expand, Spotlight 29 looking to expand, this would hurt our economy. And so that's why I brought it to the council to support this.
As two no's.
No, 26 is a yes and 27 is a no. It just says number, and that's what it is, number resolution. 26 is for supporting 26 and opposing 27.
So as written, that's what it says. If the majority of the council would like to change as this resolution as written, you would have to just delete, and we can make that amendment if that's the majority's will.
I say, there's no other comments. We could pass the consent calendar and vote on this item.
I don't think we should be neutral. I think because some of the tribes are for it, some of the tribes in our areas against it. I'm happy to be neutral.
And you're talking about 26.
Yes, 26, 27. I'm a no.
Well, I haven't heard of any tribes that are against it.
You said 29.
No, I didn't know 29 is not against it.
Against 26?
No, I haven't heard of any of our local casinos who are against 26.
Right. Statewide, and you see why the league, who receives investment from all of these constituencies, where there's not a consensus, it's hard for the league board to take a position because of the disagreement that may exist. But in this area, I don't know of anyone that's not supporting 26 as a tribe.
Right.
I don't.
Yeah.
That's the recommendation. I'm good.
All right. Well, we
Gotta
have a
support our
motion.
locals. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I'll
thought
second.
Spotlight 29 opposed 26.
I haven't heard of spotlight.
No, did you mention that, Glenn?
Yeah, I could sign, I could said to 26 voting on 26, 27.
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I'd rather maintain a neutral position. So I'm not sure what the motion on the floor is, but I think it needs to be repeated.
Okay, well, we'll take a motion for the consent calendar and we could come back to this item and they'll vote on it.
Okay, I'll second the motion for the consent calendar with the exception of 8:10.
Yes. So we have a motion on the floor by Councilmember Holmes and a second by Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, roll call. Councilmember Holmes,
Aye.
Councilmember Miller,
Aye.
Councilmember Ramos Amit,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Ortiz,
Aye.
and Mayor Furman.
Aye. Consent calendar passes. Now we'll take a vote on
I can't look at
item
it, but I don't
8,
see it.
10.
Councilmember Holmes,
Aye.
Councilmember Miller,
Nay.
Councilmember Ramos Amit,
Would you repeat the motion?
There's already a motion for the consent calendar. Now we're voting separately for
8.10.
resolution 10334.
As is,
Right.
right?
So
Yeah.
what is the motion?
It's as is for 8.10.
To support the resolution.
Nay.
Which is supporting state Proposition 26 and opposing Proposition 27.
Nay, as I mentioned, I believe we should remain neutral on 26.
Mayor Pro Tem Ortiz,
Aye.
and Mayor Furman.
Aye, motion passes. All right, so we'll move on to item number 9, administrative items. And item 9.1 is final parcel map for the city of Indio, a municipal corporation, parcel map number 38387, generally located on the northeast corner of Monroe Street and John Nobles Avenue. This will be handled by Mr. Tim Walser, Director of Public Works.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. This is Juan Raya, City Engineer. This item before you is the request for the approval of parcel map number 38387. Generally located or consisting of approximately 20 acres of city-owned land, generally located on the northeast corner of Monroe Street and John Nobles Avenue. The subdivision will result in 6 parcels and right-of-way dedication along Monroe Street and John Nobles Avenue. Concludes my report. I can answer any questions you may have.
Okay, we don't have, I don't have any questions yet, but we do have one public comment and maybe they have a question for you. So let me call up our public comment. Clarice Thomas.
My name is Clarice Thomas, and I'm a resident of Indio over 50 years. And I'm concerned about the number 9.1, the map number 38387. I was here in September for one of the meetings. I think it was in September. I came for another meeting recently, but this wasn't being discussed. So I was trying to come back when this was going to be map number 38387 be discussed. My concern is that has this been already approved and for this development to go ahead?
The city council has approved a development agreement for the property. This would make the parcels ready for that development because there are 58 individual parcels. This would create 6 for various uses that have been approved by the city council.
So the 6 lots
Yes.
and the other lots is off limits? You said it was 58 lots.
There used to be, as you were well aware, you've been here 50 years, there were a number of homes and other
Right.
structures and
Right.
so forth. Now those are gone.
Right.
There will be 6 lots that will be developed. There's a multifamily component, there's a park component, there's a hotel retail component. There'll be 6 different lots instead of the 58. So it's the same piece of property, but divided into smaller pieces.
But it would still involve people moving from their homes, right?
That's already taken place. So there is no more homes to be moved.
Oh, that's my concern, is that would their families have to move out of their homes for this
Oh, no.
development to
No.
take place?
No.
No, that was done 25, 30 years ago, and no more homes are to be taken as part of this project.
No one's going to be displaced.
Okay, that's my main concern, and I don't have any more questions. If that's true, that no people will lose their homes.
No.
That's all I have to say, and thank you for allowing me to speak.
Oh, thank you, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you for caring.
And
Yes.
I'll elaborate on that shortly when we get to council, because I had some conversation with some of the community, so I'll elaborate a little bit more. Thank you. Okay, if we don't have any more public comment, if council has any questions or comments for Juan? No? Okay, well, I just want to speak on it a little bit. There was just some confusion as what was taking place. So I've been down in the area. I talked to some of the folks who live on Daisy and Garden and Padul. And like the city manager said, what happened in the late 80s and early 90s, that's already taken place. So what we have now, we have still a parcel map that outlines all those properties is still there. So in order for us to move forward with the development of the new property, which the city manager spoke on, we have to pass this map, which takes those parcels and makes it into 6. So basically we have to kind of rezone the area for this new development, which is going to finally bring us a new mall, hotel, apartment complex, something that the community was promised 30 plus years ago. And there's been a lot of hard work and conversation and tears that's gone on behind this property. So this is actually a monumental moment. And I'm glad that some of the folks are still here who went through that, and to see this move forward. And we welcome all the input and insight you have for us as a council moving forward. So we do appreciate your concern and comments, and we're always available for any comments or concerns. It happens to be in District 2, so I'm a little bit more hands-on. It's my district. So you might see me out there in my car driving around or walking around. So please contact me if you have any questions or concerns moving forward. But I do appreciate the conversation, and we're looking forward to this moving forward. So if there's no other comments, I'll entertain a motion on this item.
I'll go ahead and make the motion to find that the final map conforms to all applicable requirements of the Subdivision Map Act and the City Subdivision Ordinance. Approve the final parcel map for the City of Indio, a municipal corporation, parcel map number 38387, generally located on the northeast corner of Monroe Street and John Nobles Avenue, and authorize the city clerk to attest the approved parcel map upon completion of any technical corrections required by the city engineer.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Holmes, a second by Mayor Pro Tem. Could I have a vote, please?
Councilmember Holmes.
Aye.
Councilmember Miller.
Aye.
Councilmember Ramos Amit.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Ortiz.
Aye.
And Mayor Furman.
Aye, the motion passes. Thank you, Juan. The next item is item 9.2, ordinance number 1787, amending chapter 93, chapter 101, and chapter 130 of the Indio Municipal Code relating to safe and sane fireworks and the use, possession, and use of dangerous fireworks. Introduce the ordinance by the title only and request the city clerk to read the title. And this will be handled by our Chief of Police, Mr. Washburn.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm actually going to ask Code Enforcement Manager Jason Anderson to handle this matter.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Tonight we're before you on a proposed ordinance that is related to fireworks. The last time the city took a look at their fireworks ordinance was 2003, so it's long past due. The proposed ordinance that you'll see in front of you does 4 things. It updates the safe and sane firework rules to be consistent with state law, state health and safety code, and the fire code. It's primarily related to the sales of safe and sane fireworks and the configuration of the stands. It'll allow for the issuance of administrative citations for the use of illegal fireworks. Those are the aerial fireworks we see on New Year's and the 4th of July. It will also have provisions in it to hold property owners and residents accountable for activities related to safe and sane fireworks and illegal fireworks on their property. Under current state law, we would actually have to catch someone lighting a firework to actually make it a crime. This will make it a crime for the property owners to allow the use of illegal fireworks and provisions of certain safe and sane regulations on their property. And one thing that's new is it's going to create a 10 p.m. cutoff time for the use of safe and sane fireworks. This is consistent with other sort of quiet hours we've established throughout the code in regards to loud parties, events, and so forth. So it's pretty simple. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great. Any questions for Mr. Anderson?
I have questions.
Okay. Councilmember Mead.
Mr. Anderson, I hope that this moves us in the right direction in being able to regulate the unsafe use of fireworks, not only on 4th of July, but on other holidays. My hope is that it gives you the tools that you need in order to enforce that policy. My fear is that it's still not going to be enough. And I know that this is just the first step in a series of steps, but especially living out here in the southern portion of the city of Indio, we constantly battle with illegal fireworks and gunshots. And I don't know that this ordinance will help in giving you the tools to be able to regulate that year round. I don't know how you as an enforcement officer can decipher or determine what is an unsafe firework and what is a gunshot. So I think the problem is much larger than we are addressing tonight. I applaud you for bringing something forward, but I also caution you that this is something that we need to fine tune every year. Shortly, I will not be on this council, and it would be my preference today that we just eliminate the use of all fireworks in our city, because I just do not see a way that you can ever manage the issues that we have in our 35-mile radius, 35 square mile radius of a city. It's just too big of an area to expect code enforcement to stay on top of, especially when we have dark areas like the southern portion and shots are being shot throughout the day, throughout the evening, through the week, through the weekend. And that is just as much a disturbance to our community as the unsafe fireworks that we are regulating tonight. So I want to thank you for bringing forward your first attempt, but I also ask you to please, even though I'm leaving and retiring, that you continue to monitor, evolve, and grow this program until the point where we're going to have to make that tough decision. Are we going to continue to allow our community to enjoy these safe fireworks, or are we going to put our foot down and say that this is out of control? We'll never be able to control it and just not allow it in our community. And I say that expressively, not only to my colleagues, to the team, to the staff, and to code enforcement, but to the community. It's in their hands. If they really want to be able to continue this practice, we've got to figure out a way for it to truly be a safe environment for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Any other questions or comments for Mr. Anderson? No. All right, if there's no further, I'll entertain a motion on this item.
Actually, I have a question.
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I have a question for council. How do you guys feel about the 10 p.m. cutoff?
10 p.m. Sounds reasonable to me. But, we just have to be realistic. Whatever law or whatever ordinance we have in place, if folks are going to use illegal fireworks, they're going to use them. We just have to continue to keep discouraging them. And, there were some good points made, and I appreciate the conversation. Myself and the city manager had some conversations about what direction we might go in the future. However, I think it's going to take a study session to look at what the Safe and Sane fireworks actually do for our nonprofits as well. So it's a give and take. But at the same time, we have to give our code enforcement and our police department all the necessary tools that we have available legally to enforce this. And we have to continue the outreach of why illegal fireworks are dangerous. And also, in the future, probably working with our new operators for the fairgrounds. We used to do fireworks at our fairgrounds, and I know Fantasy Springs does an excellent job of doing fireworks. But, speaking on the illegal fireworks and the gunshots, that's just going to be an ongoing process. That job is never going to be over, unfortunately. We just have to keep discouraging our folks and to not use illegal fireworks and shoot guns in the air. We passed our flock cameras. I think that was an excellent step and some enforcement, with our vehicles. But there are other means as well in the communities to, deter folks from using illegal fireworks. I know a lot of folks have reached out to me in the past when their neighbors are doing it. And I believe on our website, our maybe our police department has it where you can report it. And we also have anonymous numbers. So we just have to keep driving the point how dangerous it is and discourage it. But me personally, I think we're moving in the right direction with this ordinance at this point. And I'm open for having a conversation in the future about it.
And are you talking when you're talking about the future of banning if safe and sane fireworks?
If we have that conversation, I like to see what it actually does for our nonprofits. I've looked at some numbers, and I think it could be a little better for our nonprofits. However, I think it's going to take some more studying and looking at. But I also would before we even have that conversation, look to giving our community a nice fireworks show in the middle of Indio, not on the outskirts where some people can't make it to see it. So I think it's going to take some more discussion, but the ordinance right now, I think this does help it's a start. Yeah. So I appreciate you bringing this to us.
Oscar, so what's your comment? You said 10 o'clock. Do you think it's too early?
I'm just wondering how the council feels about the deadline.
I don't think you're going to stop people with illegal fireworks from shooting them off. I don't think it's really the safe and sane that's going to be an issue. So 10 o'clock, I don't know how much we're going to be able to enforce, but are you for or in favor? I'm
fine with it. Yeah, I'm fine with it. Yeah,
I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it for now, but I think this requires some additional attention. Safe and sane are safe and sane, if not for our nonprofits, right? They're the most important thing. I would probably discourage the use of safe and sane. And I would then say, let's go back to those fireworks shows that are smack in the middle of our community, because I think that's important. And I think that's huge. And I think we need to wrap our arms around or allow our police department to have an ordinance that has all the teeth possible to be able to enforce it. And I know that's going to be a work in progress. And I know that's something we need to look at in the future. And I think we need to make sure we plan and have that conversation in the future so that they have all the tools at their disposal to be able to manage the situation to the best of their ability.
Yeah, and I mean, before we even move forward, I like to thank our community as well, because our community is doing a good job, of moving in the right direction. And I think we're just going to help them out. But our community is also a big part of this moving forward, keeping us safe. So there's no other comments. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to waive full reading of ordinance number 1787, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Indio amending Chapter 93, Chapter 101, and Chapter 130 of the Indio Municipal Code related to safe and sane fireworks and the use, possession, and use of dangerous fireworks, introduced the ordinance by title only, and request the city clerk to read the title.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion by Councilmember Miller and a second by Mayor Pro Tem. Could I have a vote, please?
Councilmember Holmes.
Aye.
Councilmember Miller.
Aye.
Councilmember Ramos Amit.
And again, it would be my preference that we would move towards not allowing fireworks in the city, regardless of the nonprofit benefit.
Mayor Pro Tem Ortiz.
Aye.
Mayor Furman.
Aye, the motion passes. And could we have the clerk read the
Ordinance number 1787, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Indio, amending Chapter 101 of Title 9, General Regulations, amending subdivision H of Section 93.07, amendments and additions to the Fire Code of Chapter 93, Fire Code of Title 9, General Regulations, amending Section 130.82, definitions of the subsection entitled Social Host Responsibility and Loud or Unruly Events, and amending Section 130.999, penalty of Chapter 130, offenses against persons or property, of Title 13, general provisions of the Indian Municipal Code to increase the penalties for certain fireworks violations and to revise certain provisions relating to fireworks definitions, responsibility, and enforcement.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So we'll move on to item number 10 with your public hearing items. We have 10.1, which is ordinance number 1786, adopting amendments to Chapter 33 of the Indio Municipal Code pertaining to the transportation uniform mitigation fees and adoption of the revised fee schedule for the transportation uniform mitigation fees effective January 1st, 2023. And this will be handled by Kevin Snyder, our Director of Community Development.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, members of the City Council, again, Kevin Snyder, Director of Community Development. The item for this evening for public hearing relates to the transportation uniform mitigation fee. And just a quick history lesson, the transportation uniform mitigation fee was established in the late 80s and is a regional fee that is applied by all the Valley cities in Riverside County. It is a one-time fee that is typically charged at time of development, normally at the building permit issuance stage, and it helps fund investments in regional infrastructure throughout the Valley. When the City of Indio, like other communities, other cities and the county in the Valley, adopted the program, the TUMF program, just to make it simple, the City of Indio established an ordinance. In 2018, the CVAG Executive Committee adopted what's called the TUMF Nexus Handbook. And this handbook established kind of a different paradigm of looking at TUMF. It did several things, but most importantly, it made the screen go blank. Let me try that again. It established a new set of regulatory standards for implementation of the TUMF. And so since 2018, various cities in the Valley have been looking at a model ordinance that was created by CVAG staff. CVAG stands for the Coachella Valley Association of Governments, which is the Metropolitan Planning Organization. And they have issued a model ordinance. The model ordinance makes the ordinances that are adopted by cities and the county consistent with that Nexus Handbook I mentioned. To date, 6 of this Valley cities have adopted the model ordinance. And so part of the action before you this evening is to be consistent and current with the model ordinance. As part of that, there is a proposal in the ordinance for the council to consider, and I want to emphasize it's optional only for the council to delegate to the city manager the authority to administratively implement future TUMF increases. And as the council is aware, but again, for the public record, annually, the TUMF Executive Committee considers potential inflationary adjustments in the TUMF fees that are charged. And those inflationary adjustments are based on the Consumer Price Index for the San Bernardino and Riverside County metropolitan areas. And depending on what is happening in the greater economy, the Consumer Price Index can be small or it can be large. And the CVAG Executive Committee, of which the City of Indio is part of, considers the staff recommendation and then takes action, at which time then the committee will, action will then be transmitted to the cities in the Valley along with Riverside County for potential consideration. 2 cities so far in our Valley have considered and adopted granting the city manager administrative authority, the City of Palm Desert and the City of Indian Wells. Again, this is a consideration for you in considering the adoption of model ordinance that you could grant the city manager that administrative authority to implement any increases passed by the CVAG Executive Committee. Consistent with state law, there would still be a 60-day implementation period. And again, this is an optional consideration for you this evening. There's a second action before you this evening is to consider the revised TUMP fees. On the screen before you is a chart that shows what the current fees are by different land use types, what the proposed fee and what the difference is. And this is based on the CVAG Executive Committee action earlier in 2022, and it reflects an 8.2% increase in the Consumer Price Index. And that's reflective of the inflationary impacts that have been going nationwide and have been impacting us. So in the last time you considered this, it was a 2.1% increase. This time it's an 8.2% increase, but the CVAG Executive Committee considered that and determined to approve this and then asked the various member cities and Riverside County to consider adopting this increase. Again, it's based on the Consumer Price Index, which is a factual data point for consideration of this. So this evening, staff is recommending that you consider adopting ordinance number 1786. Again, there is a portion of that that you could decide to keep to the council, which the current ordinance in front of you does propose that the city manager be granted the administrative authority. However, that is just an option and it's for your consideration. Along with your considering that ordinance adoption, you would also be considering the adoption of the revised TUMP fees, which again, pulling back up the screen is represented on the screen as well as in your staff report. I'll also note that Peter Satin, regional planner with CVAG, Coachella Valley Association of Governments, is in attendance virtually this evening and is available to answer any questions. He also intends to make some minor comments, a few comments during the public hearing portion of this item. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Snyder. This is a public hearing item. So I will open the public hearing. I do not have any requests to speak present. So we'll allow, sorry, I forget his name from CVAG.
Peter Satin,
Yeah,
which
Peter.
I believe he's on Zoom virtually.
There is. There's Peter.
Good evening, Mayor Furman, fellow council members. Thank you for your consideration tonight. I don't want to rehash anything that Mr. Snyder had just said, so I'll just provide some background kind of on CVAG's approval process. When we have a data point that we can plug into our inflationary adjustment formula is probably overblown, but our inflationary adjustment process, before even taking that to any of our committees, we do send that out for comment to any interested parties. Historically, that's been the Desert Valley Builders Association. We work with them, we take in their comments and considerations, we fold those into the staff report as appropriate, and then we bring the initial recommendation to our transportation committee, represented by your own council member Holmes, for consideration. If the transportation committee approves or recommends the inflationary adjustment, they will pass that on to the executive committee, and here represented by Mayor Furman, for final adoption. And if the executive committee recommends adoption of that fee schedule, we will then send that out to the cities for final implementation. So it goes through a two-step process, lots of input from both stakeholders and elected officials. And as Mr. Snyder mentioned, this is the second time we're doing this since the 2018 TUMP revisions allowed us to do this. And we kind of like doing it just because it helps us keep pace with current economic trends, as opposed to kind of letting these fees stagnate and then 10, 12 years later needing to catch up with a large fee increase versus perhaps multiple incremental smaller increases. So with that concludes my comments. I'm happy to answer any questions the council may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for, actually, that's it for our public comment. So I'll close the public comment and open it up for council for any questions or comments. No. Miller? No. Councilman Ramit, do you have any questions or comments? I can't see your hands if you.
No, I do not. Thank you, Mayor.
So, if we do not have any further, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll motion to waive full reading of the ordinance amending Chapter 33 of the Indio Municipal Code and adopting the revised Transportation Uniform Mitigation Fee Schedule. Introduce the ordinance by title only and request the city clerk to read the title.
All right. We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Ortiz and a second by Miller. Could I have a vote, please?
Councilmember Holmes.
Aye.
Councilmember Miller.
Aye.
Councilmember Ramos Hamid.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Ortiz.
Aye.
And Mayor Furman.
Aye, the motion passes. And City Clerk, can you read the
Ordinance number 1786, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Indio, amending Chapter 33 of the Indio Municipal Code pertaining to the collection of transportation and uniform mitigation fees and adopting the revised fee schedule for the transportation uniform mitigation fees effective January 1st, 2023.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Snyder.
Mr. Mayor, if I could real quick.
Yes, sir.
I want to stand corrected. The 29 Palms Band of Michigan, it does support Prop 26. I was misinformed.
Yeah, I got a text. So thank you for bringing that for the record. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. And so we'll move on to item number 11, which is public comments for items not on the agenda. I do have one public comment that's present, and that's Mr. Casey Bowen. Bowen, thank you.
Hello, Mayor, Council, Chief, City Manager, everybody. I'm Casey Bowen, the branch manager of your Indio Library. And what a fortuitous night for me to show up. It's been a while since I've been to a city council meeting and talking about all these wonderful improvements to the city. Well, don't forget us. We're here. We need it. And I just wanted to share something with you. We had our fall festival this last Saturday, right in the middle of that gigantic storm.
Wow.
Okay. I mean, rain was going sideways. From 3 to 5, we had over 625 people show up to our fall festival in the middle of that storm. People care about your library, this library. So we need your support in making any future library space fantastic. Let's see. We had about 7 different community groups there, from the food bank to the Friends of the Senior Center, to the Teen Center didn't come this year, but lots and lots of them, lots of games and activities for the kids. And again, it was all during that storm. So don't forget that. Now, who here has a library card? You? Okay, good. Do you?
Yeah.
I've seen the city manager out a few times helping us out with some stuff going on outside the library. And who's brought their kids in? Okay, I'm calling you out.
Okay.
So don't forget us. We're here and we matter, and we want to matter even more. So we are working really hard to build up our programs, to work with the city. I've been working with the Senior Center and the Teen Center to get some programs going there. And, you know, we've got our story times and, a teen anime club and all kinds of things. So don't forget us. That's really all I wanted to say. We are thankful for what you are doing, but keep at it. Dig deep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. And we appreciate you.
I have a question. For your events, is there any way you could forward your flyers for any events to us so we can share on social media, stuff like that?
Sure. I did fill out the form that gets sent out every month for the fall festival, which may help. Whom should I send them?
I think city manager's office will take care of it.
Okay.
Yeah, nice.
So yeah, we've got a monthly calendar that comes out that we can easily share with you.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
That's great. All right. So do we have anyone online, clerk? No? Okay. So our next council meeting, joint meeting with IWA is November 2nd, 2022. And I'd like to adjourn this meeting in memory of one of my constituents who was a community member here in our city. And she was real active in her neighborhood. Man, she was in my district, and she also attended our senior center. And she passed this past week. So I'd like to conclude this meeting in the memory of Jesse Galvez. So it is 6:29 and this meeting is adjourned.